Hey guys, it's Mario here and with another video which is gonna be my upper body bodybuilding style workout where I'm doing that 6 to 12 rep range. So this is a workout following a deload week. So this is the first workout of this week where I'm fresh, I'm ready to crush it. And I felt really good coming into the workout. The warm-up was awesome as well. As you know, my standard routine using these resistance bands, pretty awesome stuff to do for your shoulders if you're having shoulder issues. Highly recommended this. And this video I also wanted to cover a little bit of exercise variety and how to incorporate different kinds of movements. And depending on your goal, which is really the key, is like what your goal is, and that is gonna pretty much determine of how you approach your whole workout and how you design your whole workout plan. So a lot of people are not sure, how do bodybuilders train different from powerlifters, and how does the strength training kind of mix with bodybuilding? With a lot of these routines that are coming out, especially now in these days, a lot of them are based on strength training, a lot of them are based on powerlifting, and kind of bodybuilding is not the primary focus right now, because I see a lot of powerlifting based channels really growing and improving, while the people that I talk to and people that I coach are primarily still interested in aesthetics. So if your goal is really to build that awesome looking body where you don't necessarily care to optimize for the squat, bench press and deadlift, if you don't plan to go on a powerlifting meet or a powerlifting platform, step up and do that, then you might want to train a little bit differently. So what is an exercise? Exercise is a skill, right? If you look at it from a basic standpoint, exercise is a skill. So like any other skill, there's a degree of learning that you have to go through when you're learning a skill, right? When you're becoming good at something, right? You can't just hop on a bicycle if you've never done it before and then all of a sudden you're riding that bicycle like full speed, right? It's gonna be shaky in the beginning. And same with the movements. And with the movements, a lot of advice out there that I found is that you need to keep switching it up. You need to keep changing. You need to keep confusing your muscles. Well, what this is doing is actually confusing your muscles so they don't grow as optimally as they can. Where according to the research, I mean, if you look at all the studies, the more complex the movement is, the more time it actually takes your body to learn the movement so it can actually start utilizing the muscle, the full potential of your muscles, and then you can actually stimulate that muscle to grow, right? So if you're constantly confusing your muscles, you're non-stop in that learning phase, and then in that learning phase, the growth is not optimal. So even as a bodybuilder whose primary interest is really getting a uniform symmetrical body, you still want to make sure that you have a certain list of exercises that you want to become an expert at, right? It's not like a list of like 50, 60 different movements. We're not doing CrossFit here, like CrossFitters just like pulling different kinds of movements out of their ass just to do it to make it interesting. With bodybuilding, if you really want to optimize your results, I am talking about people who really want to get optimal results. You want to become an expert at a specific set of movements. And then when you master those movements, you want to change those movements over time. And where does variety come into play when it comes to bodybuilding? The variety is in service of symmetry, right? When you want to grow your muscles in a symmetrical way, but I'm just gonna pause real quick here. You see the bar path on my bench press here. I wanted to add this a little bit here, a different angle. So going back at that, what is a variety in bodybuilding? Well, it definitely serves the purpose of you getting a more symmetrical growth. And that is the key with bodybuilding, is like you want to keep analyzing your body and seeing which muscle groups need more work, which muscle groups are responding to which movements, like what movements are working better, which movements are not working as good, right? So you want to keep looking at that and keep gathering that feedback from your body and adjusting over time. That's what good bodybuilders do, right? Good bodybuilders, they analyze their body. They know, hey, my real delt needs a little bit more work. And you guys know that some of your muscle groups are just growing whatever the hell you throw at them. Some of others might not grow as fast, right? I know my chest, for example, has been really a pain in the ass, but I've kind of managed to crack the code. And Same as some people say, hey, my back just doesn't grow. Well, it's the point where you haven't really put in the effort to see how much volume you need to put up on that. Maybe you need to add extra sets, maybe you need to add different movements, maybe more variety. You still haven't cracked the code. And for strength training, for powerlifting specifically, where does variety come there? Well, powerlifters don't necessarily care how their rear deltoid looks like, or how symmetrical their lats look like compared to their medial delts, how wide their body looks and that V taper look. They really care only about getting that bench press, deadlift, and squat up. So everything that they do for sake of variety is to simply improve and to fix the weak links of those three lifts, so that when they dissect their squat, bench press, and deadlift, they can see, hey, my bench press, I feel like my triceps is weak. So I'm either weak in the start of the bench press. So what can I do? Well, I can add some close grip bench press to improve my triceps. In the squat, let's say my quadriceps is getting weaker because I'm doing back squats all the time, and I feel like my hips are taking off like most of the load. Then I can add some front squats to fix that, or like pause squats, Anderson squats, and things that I already talked about on this channel. So the variety in powerlifting is called assistance lifts, where you add certain lifts to eliminate a weak link. So your chain is just as strong as your weak link. So your weak link is going to limit how much you can do with your primary movement. And don't forget that powerlifting programs are specifically designed to get the big three up. So the key is just to lift the maximum amount of weight on one repetition with the big three movements, with the deadlift, squat, and the bench press. So powerlifting itself relies on a lot of specificity, and that's why it's kind of difficult when you read advice on the internet or you watch a video. You want to make sure that that person has the same goals as you. You know, I see a lot of people who are interested in aesthetics and they're going for like a powerlifting type of program, and then they're not happy with the way they look. Well, that's what you got, you know, because you haven't been clear with your goals. And simply understand that whatever you want to get good at, you want to do that. So coming back at bodybuilding, as a bodybuilder, you really want to look at what type of response are you getting from your movements? Like, what type of response am I getting from, let's say, 4 different kinds of movements for my chest, and if I do each movement with 3 sets with these kind of repetitions. And then I see, hey, at the end of like a couple of weeks to a training block, I see, hey, my chest doesn't seem to be improving at all, and I'm on a lean gaining phase, or you're in a good muscle building phase, and you're like, shit, it doesn't work. Well, then you can amp up the volume and you can see if it's working. Then if it's too sore, if it's not recovering enough, if it's like just becoming too painful to deal with, then you might have overblown the volume. Maybe you need more variety, maybe you need a deload, right? It's really coming down to you figuring out which movements to add to make sure that that specific area of your body is growing. Because we know some people, you know, they walk up the stairs twice, or they haven't done shit for their calf muscles, and these calves are like watermelons, you know, just randomly, just genetically. And some people are just like that. Some people are just like, hey, like hashtag team no calves, you know, like just can't grow the calf regardless of if they like train it like 3-4 times a week. They need to train every day with a ton of volume, and we're talking about exactly tons and tons of volume. And that is something, if you have a situation like that, don't ignore that, because I see people like they're just so much focused on what they're really good at. You know, they're like, okay, I have a big chest, keep training the chest, you know, like with heavy volume, instead of looking at, okay, what's my weak point? Let me work on that. Let me work on my back. Let me work on my medial deltoid. Let me work on my biceps, right? My forearm, you know, like some people are just like, hey, my forearm is so tiny, but you see them in the gym, they're doing curls, they're doing like random stuff, you know, they're benching 6 times a week and things like that. So if you really want to improve something, you want to be getting that feedback from your body. And as I said, powerlifting is very, very specific. It's about fixing the weak link. Bodybuilding is really about a uniform symmetrical growth. So keep that in mind when you're organizing your training. Become a master, add a few lifts. Don't change lifts very, very frequently, because you're going to be stuck in that learning phase. And my rule of thumb is to switch up maybe a few movements, 6 to 8 weeks in that range, and that will allow you to kind of keep that learning enough there to get the maximum amount of growth, but you still have enough time to get an extra variety, and that's going to allow you to get that growth and include some extra movements to keep the workout interesting as well. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a pleasure to talk to you again a little bit about some exercise theory, and you enjoyed watching me lift here, doing some hyperextensions. I add these sometimes just for a little bit of work on that lower back, doing some more of these side bends. And as always, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to click subscribe below to support this channel. It's growing really, really fast, and you guys sharing videos, you're commenting. I want to thank everybody again for the support. You guys are fucking awesome, and I'm super excited to see where this community is going to go. I'm going to keep posting videos, keep sharing value with you guys. So I hope you guys are having a great day wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.